Here's a familiar problem you've probably run into. You go to a fast food restaurant, you order your favorite meal, and then when you pull up through the drive-thru, you ask for ketchup, or in my case, honey mustard, and then you're given pounds and pounds of these single-use packets that when you get home, you don't know what to do with them. So a lot of us just throw them away. Turns out those little packets are creating a much bigger problem for our environment. According to a 2019 Greenpeace report, there's over 855 billion of those condiment packets worldwide. And in the US, less than 10% of them are actually recycled. So how do we fix this fast food sustainability issue? Well, Tom Zaki is working on a solution through his company called TerraCycle.
TerraCycle is a global mission-driven waste management company. So we focus on things that normal garbage companies and recyclers generally do not do. Across 20 countries now, we collect and recycle things that are very challenging to locally recycle.
Now, your used sauce packets have a better place to call home.
In 2021, TerraCycle partnered with Taco Bell on a sauce packet recycling program, giving customers a way to recycle hot sauce packets after eating out.
Box the sauce packets up, drop them at your local UPS.
So what do those sauce packets get turned into as they're recycled?
We then turn those into plastic granules, and then manufacturers take those to make them into different products, everything from park benches to Frisbees and many things in between.
So that all seems pretty straightforward, right? So you might be wondering, why haven't we seen a more wide-scale effort to curb this sauce packet problem? Well, that's where it gets a bit more complicated.
The big challenge and why we haven't seen a breakthrough come out onto the scene yet is because the biggest issue for recyclers with sauce packets is that they're small in size. Generally, municipal recyclers, the folks who manage our blue bins, want objects that are large, typically greater than 2 by 2 by 2 inches. That's quite a large object when you think about it in the context of a sauce packet. Beyond looking at material types and maybe thinking about how to design into local recyclability, shifting to reuse and reusability, I think is a good next step in that direction, because then we can design out of the need of recycling altogether.
This practice, reduce and reuse, is also a step that TerraCycle is working on with other fast food chains like Burger King and McDonald's.
We are working with them through our Loop ecosystem so that when you go and buy your sandwich or soda or coffee, you are given the choice to now get those products in fully reusable packaging. Now, you pay a deposit when you access that package, and then when you're done, you can drop it back off at any participating retailer. We give you your deposit back in full, and then take it, clean it, and then it just gets refilled and sold to the next consumer. So it never becomes waste, it just gets cleaned and reused.
So when we talk about these fast food eco issues, plastic is often the top crusade, but that's not the only problem. It actually goes a lot deeper than that. So to help me understand, I reached out to my LX colleague, Chase Kane, who specializes in reporting on our environment.
The bigger issue for the industry, the bigger impact they're having is around transportation, shipping all of this food across the country, people waiting in line outside of restaurants, sitting in their car with the car idling, and then also beef. Beef has an outsized impact on the planet. It's producing a ton of carbon as well as a ton of methane emissions, which is actually a more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. Beef and dairy production accounts for about 15% of all greenhouse gas emissions around the world. I mean, that's a significant amount.
The biggest change one can make is when they go to Burger King, buy the Impossible Whopper and avoid the beef. That is the biggest effect you can change on climate change. And it's really encouraging now to see these fast food restaurants embrace vegetarian and vegan options. But I'd love more choices than one sandwich on the entire menu. And if we start ordering differently, they will adapt, because the consumer is the king or the queen. And it's so important that we also understand that we have that role to play. Because in the end, right, we're voting for the future we want with what we buy and what we don't buy. And that goes all the way to how we order and what we ask to be put in the bag and what we ask to be not put in the bag versus just accepting it the way it is.